Do it. Yep. All right. So, I don't know if you have watched any of my previous YouTube videos, but
Mhm.
usually the way that I start my coaching sessions is I try to fix things that are outside of the game first. So in this case, it's going to be your runes, your summoner spells, and maybe even your champion choice in this case. All right?
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So first, let's take a look at the runes here. So you are Ornn against Maokai and a team comp that looks really strong in terms of team fighting, with lots of good CC and survivability, right? Um, so you take Grasp of the Undying, Demolish, Conditioning, Overgrowth, Cosmic Insight, and Biscuit Delivery. I think all of these runes are fine with the matchup that you're given. If it's Maokai, right? So Grasp of the Undying is totally fine against Maokai. Sometimes you can take another rune though against some other matchups. Are you aware of this other rune on Ornn?
If I had to guess, it would be Aftershock, but I'm not too sure.
No, it's actually not Aftershock. It's Unsealed Spellbook.
I've actually never used that on Ornn. What's the logic behind that?
Well, the logic is Ornn has actually very good combat stats. You might think of him as just a regular tank, but actually Ornn is very strong in certain matchups, especially against bruisers. So if you take Unsealed Spellbook, maybe there won't be the chance for you to proc your Grasp of the Undying auto attack, but with Unsealed Spellbook, you will first of all get lower cooldowns on your summoner spells, and you get the opportunity to also change your teleport to, for example, Ignite. So in that case, um, whether when you're going for that 1v1, and then you suddenly have Ignite, Renekton doesn't expect it, and you suddenly solo kill him.
I see. So what matchups should I be taking it on? Mostly against bruisers like Renekton, or say like on Nasus,
I
Camille,
think
things like that?
Right. So I think there are certain matchups that you won't be able to proc your Grasp of the Undying, and that's when you want to take the Unsealed Spellbook.
I see. So it could also count as in like ranged matchups like Quinn, for example, or Teemo Top. I should take Unsealed rather than Grasp.
100%. You do not want to take Grasp against those matchups because you'll never proc it.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Fine. Ouch.
Alright. So then the next rune that you took is Demolish. What are the other two rune choices that you can take over Demolish?
Let me pull them up real quick. Give me a second. So the other two rune choices are, other than Demolish, would be Font of Life
Mm-hmm.
and Shield Bash.
Right. So if we take a look at these three choices, the best one to take here is Demolish, because Font of Life, yeah, you don't want to take that in the solo lane, and
And Ornn can't proc Shield Bash.
exactly.
So,
Okay. Conditioning. This is also really good, considering you're in a matchup that won't be very difficult for you, and both of you are just looking to scale. So conditioning is 100% the right choice to go here, and overgrowth is also the right choice to go here because I think the longer the game goes, the better this will be for you. Although this is not completely necessary on Ornn. I think because of the way you buy your items, so you will usually purchase um, one armor item, one magic resist item, and then you will rush your Warmonks, right?
yeah, that's exactly how I built in this game.
So I'm thinking, if that's what you're gonna go, what are the other two rune choices over Overgrowth?
There's Unflinching and Revitalize.
Unflinching and Revitalize, right? So you can't take Revitalize because you don't have any healing, but Unflinching, it could be good, especially against the enemy team comp that has tons of CC. So Kayn is probably gonna go red form. Leona, of course, has a lot of CC, Zillion's bombs, and his E as well slows, and of course Maokai is a CC monster. So Unflinching could be good, especially in those team fights compared to Overgrowth, since you're gonna take a lot of HP items anyways. And I don't think
That
the value that you'd get from Overgrowth will be better than the value that you get with Unflinching in this case.
Now that you bring it up, that's true. Because a lot of ults in this game, I couldn't redirect my ult because I was CC'd. So if I actually had the tenacity from Unflinching, that actually could have been the difference. You're absolutely correct there. Yeah.
Right, right. And then you took Cosmic Insight and Biscuit Delivery. I think Cosmic Insight is fine, but I would only take Cosmic Insight if you're looking towards getting 45% cooldown.
I see.
Did you get 45% cooldown in this game?
I think by the end of this game, I was at 39%. Like, I was up there, I was getting close to it,
Right.
but I wasn't fully there.
Right. So if you want to get 45% cooldown as Ornn, because of the way you itemize, you need to take the cooldown reduction rune, which you did. So I'm really glad that that happened. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, then this is fine. Biscuit delivery against Maokai. Let me think. I think it's okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much against Maokai, honestly. So this is
My
fine.
lo my logic behind it was I mainly went into inspiration for the cosmic insight, and there wasn't really anything else I could take that was beneficial. It was biscuits or bust pretty much, because all of the other um, inspiration runes didn't really help me achieve anything in lane or in team fights or whatnot. So I just went for the safe biscuits pick.
Alright, then that's okay. So in terms of just your runes and the rune stats that you took as well, I'm completely fine with this. And of course you took TP because you're a top laner. Let's take a look at in terms of draft. I think you guys have it really tough, to be honest. Um, yeah, it's just their team comp is insane against your team comp. I think only you and Trundle have value against their team comp because they have two tanks like Leona and Maokai. So Trundle gets value off of these two champions. And Ornn, it's just really good for any team comp. I think he's a standard tank that scales incredibly well into the late game because of his passive. Um, the issue here is, yeah, your mid laner, your support, and your AD carry. I think these three champions don't really do well against this comp, mainly because they don't outrange them.
So the best thing to pick here, if we are to draft against the same comp, are champions that can outrange them.
So in this case,
Like
you wouldn't pick Syndra. I think against that team comp, you can go ahead and pick a control mage that has much longer range over Syndra. Um,
like Lux or Xerath, for example, would that work against
I,
that team comp?
I don't know about Lux. Hmm. Actually, that's fine. Yeah, Lux or Xerath are totally fine against this team comp. Is you would just need to take cleanse instead of TP, so you wouldn't have TP for those coordinated plays. But yeah, they have so much CC that you need cleanse anyways. Yeah, I think Lux or Xerath will be okay. Azir would also be really nice into this team comp, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
thanks to his ultimate.
because
That makes complete sense, yeah.
yeah, you would have the disengage option from your ultimate, and also the long range capabilities of his other skills. Yeah, big question mark here is the Sona. This makes absolutely no sense for me. If you're gonna be playing Clash, I think you need to take drafting very seriously. What does the Sona provide in this team comp?
So in our mindset when we were drafting this comp, we wanted to go for a heavy kind of AoE teamfight dominant comp. So our mindset was we pick MF, who's a very good team fighting ADC, and then we pick Sona, who has a really good team fighting ult and can also like hyperscale into late game with like Ardent Sensor and Redemption, and get like the Seraph's Embrace. And then she'll buff Trundle and MF with Ardent Sensor, and she can get the big Sona ults in team fights, and MF can follow up with her own ultis. That was like the logic behind it in
I
draft pick at least.
Yeah, I think that logic is fine. Because at least you made that flow of logic, and I'm kind of convinced. But the problem is, if you look at the enemy team comp, there is no way for Sona to survive whatever they want to do, right? Sona gets caught by Leona, she's instantly dead because of the follow-up from Tristana. Sona gets caught by Maokai, Sona gets caught by Kayn. You know, she doesn't outrange any of these champions either. So if you're not gonna outrange it anyways, instead of picking Sona, you want something that can enable the misfortune to do better, right? You're in here, you guys are only playing towards your ultimates, right? Without your ultimates, you guys are pretty much left for dead.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna see in this game. Unfortunately, my Sona does end up getting jumped on a lot by Leona, Tristana, and Kayn. It is kind of a reoccurring problem as the
Yeah.
game continues because of
I
how we drafted in the team.
Yeah, right. I can imagine that. But right now, I think what's more important, other than your synergy with the entire team, is I just want to see how good you are individually. Okay, so
For
yeah, let's take a look. Let's drive straight into the gameplay. Okay. So I'll just skip the initial parts. Yep. So you guys are just okay. You take some words. Let's get into the laning phase. Okay, so small leash. Alright, so laning phase starts. And as you know, it's Ornn versus Maokai, which means that it's very hard to kill each other actually, but that might be what most people think in the grand scheme of the game. However, Ornn does do better than Maokai before level... No, actually not before levels. Before Maokai gets his first core item. So, Ornn actually beats Maokai right now. Because your W, of course, does more damage than whatever he has on his Q. Since it does percentage health damage. And you have your Grasp of the Undying. And I think if you just keep trading with Maokai, you will win those trades. And I've seen it done, because before we went into this coaching session, I reviewed Maokai versus Ornn game, and Ornn does shit on Maokai in the early levels. So if you're playing safe as Ornn versus Maokai right now, that's bad. I think you need to really pressure him when you can. If you see a moment where you can pressure the Maokai, you want to take it. You don't want to ever be, how do I say this, complacent.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I played it very safe this game, and I tried to take lane priority, but I didn't. I almost never interacted with Maokai before both of us finished like components. You'll see that in the game as it unfolds, which is my bad. Given what you say, it makes complete sense. I've killed Maokai's before as Ornn, but with this game in particular, I tried leaving no room for error in my laning, so I tried playing as safe as possible while maintaining priority. In the future, I'll try my best to harass Maokai's with W, because that makes complete sense. Ornn should outtrade Maokai level.
Right.
You're completely correct on that one.
Yeah, but here's the other important thing that you have to know, which is jungle tracking. Jungle tracking is extremely important when you're going to think about how you want to play the matchup. So you have Trundle, he starts on the blue side, so he's gonna path towards red and then take Scuttle and help bot. So you're not gonna have jungle pressure on your side. So that means that you might want to play safe just in case Kayn does arrive. But the thing is, Kayn also, you don't know where he started, right? He could have started Raptors, he could have started red first, or he could have started blue. But my idea of it is that he started blue, and why do you think that is my idea of that?
Because if he wants to go red Kayn, he needs to pass into top, because I'm the only melee champion in the game. To pass the top, he needs to do blue into like Wolves, Gromp, red buff tokens, and then come up top and gank me. That's how he's going. That's the only way he's going to get a red meter.
That's actually a really interesting answer. And yeah, that's really fun to hear. But my answer is actually much more simple than that. It's about bot lane leashes. So if you take a look at the bot lane, what do you immediately notice?
Yeah, they're not there. They're gone.
Not there. They're gone. So most likely, either Tristana and Leona have leash for Kayn, or they're faking the leash, right? They could actually just be in this bush waiting, and Kayn started on his Raptors or on his red side. But either way, you can kind of break down the possibilities, right? So it's either a 50-50% where he starts here and here, but most likely there's a high chance that he starts in blue side, more because the bot lane wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
So with that logic in mind, you can just go ahead and start trading with him, even though you don't have priority in the jungle, because he's not gonna be around top side. And you can do this because it's Kayn. Admin just said that this guy's a Kayn main, but because he's a Kayn main, he knows that he needs to kind of like full clear the jungle and then decide to gank top.
Yeah,
right. Most Kayns don't go 3 camps and then suddenly gank. Maybe they do in Korea, but I don't think they would do this in NA.
Yeah, trust me, they don't for the most part.
Right.
a lot of nerves played into effect here as well. I was nervous as this is like an important clash game, so I tried my best to not die, I guess. But you'll see that even though I attempted to, there were some misplays that led to me dying later on during the laning phase.
Right, right. So basically, Kane's usually gank at around the level 4 timing after they have cleared out their jungle.
Yeah,
Because after that, they want to gank and then possibly take the Rift Scuttler. So knowing this information that you know he's going to most likely gank you at level 4, you want to play out the lane so that once he is level 4, you don't get ganked by him, right? And but
yeah,
I think what just happened here is, look, this is I'm already seeing how passive you are, and this is kind of unacceptable. You really want to punish him at this
yeah,
moment, at least, with your W and with your grasp auto attacks. And
yeah.
this is really
I,
the window where you will get to beat him. I don't think you'll get that window after he gets his first core item, mainly because his cooldowns get shorter, and also just Maokai as a champion.
I do this game completely in reverse, which is wrong. I should have been harassing him here. I end up trying to harass him after he finishes components, which was see, this is my Sona gets jumped bot lane by the Tristana Leona, and unfortunately gets killed.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the problem in draft, right? If you're gonna draft Misfortune Tristana, the moment Sona gets caught, she dies. There's no way out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Our drafting was a bit weird, given that they played Leona Tristana for sure.
So I see that right now you're playing extremely safe, and it's understandable because I think Kane should reach level 4 at around now. So I really do like this ward. The problem is you need to push this wave out, or else Maokai is gonna freeze it.
Yeah, I'm
And
I'm pretty sure I end up hard shoving into him at some point. But at this point in time, my jungler told me that Kane could be top, so I'm playing a bit more conservatively than I should have. I get the green light here that Kane isn't top, so I just hard shove it into him.
okay. So you hard shove, and now you have quite a bit of free time, right?
Yeah,
What you can do in this free time, where when you're not doing anything, right? This is time wasted. This is the perfect time for you to actually either recall, but you don't have to because you're Ornn. That's the sweet thing about Ornn. Ornn doesn't have to recall. You can just purchase your items now, or you can take Vision of Scuttle. So you just walk up to the Scuttle, and if you see Kane there, you fall back, right? Maokai has to take the CS under turret. He can't come to harass you
yeah,
if Kane is there. So this is free time you could be using, but you're not. So now
yeah,
Maokai is doing this, right? And this is super suspicious.
yeah, for sure. He ditched CS, like he cleared CS at tower, and then he immediately came to check me out. It was very telling.
So you know that Kane is around. Kane
Yeah,
is around
exactly.
topside.
Which is why I like try to hang as back as possible, and I like never E aggressively, because I'm always like, okay, Kane's gonna come top. I need to save my E to like be able to back off and
Right,
just farm with Q for the meantime.
right. But then you know that Kane is here now because you saw him on the minimap and everyone's pinging. Oh my goodness, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it was quite a brawl fest early on.
No, I mean like your bot lane didn't have priority and your mid lane didn't have priority, but Trundle decided to take the scuttle anyways, and now he's gonna die. Yeah.
We have
Uh,
a lot of things. We have a lot of things to work out on this team. That's
yeah.
for sure.
But I won't focus on those things. I'll focus on what you can do better here. So you know that Kane is bot lane, right? Uh,
Yes, do you think I should be going aggressive here? Like
yeah,
just trying to. Oh, okay.
yeah. Just go in, use your W, use your Q, use your E, proc your auto attack grasp, put him to half health, and you will also be like around this much. He'll get you down around here, but he doesn't have anything other than his Q at the moment to damage you. His W does shit damage, so you're not gonna get hit by it. And as long as you don't go nearby the bushes, Maokai has no way of beating you right now. You just hard win Maokai. So even though he has this big ass minion wave, I think it's still okay to just play aggressive, honestly.
Okay.
Only like maybe he has an extra wave of 6 more caster minions, then of course you don't want to fight that. But in this case, yeah, you should really try to abuse the advantage that you have at the moment, and yeah, do not go near the bushes.
That's yeah. That was learned throughout the game for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Maokai's most lethal skill is his saplings, his E, and the reason why that is because they do percentage health damage. So you don't ever want to go nearby the bushes as a tank. No matter how much HP you have, it will get you down to, you know, it will chunk 10% of your HP. So whenever you're facing a Maokai, it not just when you're playing a tank, just don't go near by the bushes. Always play right pocket of the lane.
All right, for sure.
So here, again here, you can... Right, so you saw that small interaction there, right?
That's a very fun Ornn trick. Yeah. The tower, like the small rock bumps them, which procs brittle, and it's quite good harass without actually going in with E.
And I think you should have done that more often when the wave was in a better state for you, right? He's a melee champion. He's gonna have to get close to these minions to take them. So take that time to harass them as much as you can. And maybe you will force a back, or maybe you might even solo kill him. I think the goal that you want as Ornn right now, of course, is not to die, but the other goal is you wanna get as many advantages as you can against another top laner that is willing to just handshake it with you.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Now that we're watching this game, there's a lot of opportunities where I could have actually like killed him or crippled his HP, and I didn't take those opportunities. You're spot on. I should have.
right. So this is not just about game knowledge, of course. This is about the mindset here. Most people, when they look at this matchup, they're like, nothing's gonna happen. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can always force things out of these weaker solo laners, especially if you have the advantage in the early game. Later on, though, I don't think you actually win him in 1v1s anymore, because he will have passive healing, and that will be really hard. Yeah. Anyways, so Trundle is pathing top. Yeah.
I believe there's gonna be a gank soon. If I remember correctly.
Here's another thing. Whenever the wave is nearby your side, so you see this middle line that I'm drawing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the wave is here, Trundle shouldn't come, but if the wave is past this middle line, he should come, because it will be an easy kill onto Maokai. He'll have to burn flash. Minimum flash. But you both still have flash, so... And Trundle has pressed the attack. I think Trundle should look towards enabling you more often, but I do understand why he's not, because he also has the mindset that this is a lane that doesn't snowball, and that even if he gets a kill onto you, it won't do much for your team, which is totally understandable reasoning, because I think if he went bot lane and got those leads on the bot lane, those would actually translate much better than getting the leads onto you, right?
Our mentality for this lane was that I should play safe and get level 14 as soon as possible, so I could start upgrading items for my team thanks to Ornn passive, which is why, you see like Trundle isn't coming top as much. Because he doesn't want to risk like us losing a 2v2 and then putting me back in behind in XP. So that's kind of like the whole objective that we had going for us. But yeah, seeing it back now, we could have easily killed Maokai multiple times. He ends up pushing into me more than once.
Yeah. So that's why, in order to be able to kill him, you need to harass him first, right? If Trundle comes in now, Maokai is gonna have to burn flash, but it won't be a guaranteed kill. So you need to soften him up. You need to kind of pound that tree down, so that he's easier to chew on, right?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I think you just played extremely passive this game, and whenever you're gonna go against Maokai, or maybe your next matchup will be Malphite, or maybe it will be Scion. In those cases, I want you to play as aggressive as you can with Ornn before level 6. After level 6 though, it's gonna be hard. Actually, no, sorry. Not level 6. I need you to play aggressive with Ornn until the enemy top laner gets enough tanky items, so maybe like 1.5 core items.
I wanted to ask, are you okay with the max? I'm maxing W this game, but I have heard that maxing Q on Ornn is sometimes the way to go in certain lane matchups. Is this a matchup where I max Q or W in your opinion?
Because you decided to play the way that you did, I think you should have just maxed Q instead, because Q, it will allow you to push the lane much quicker, considering its low cooldown. And also, yeah, you're just not interacting enough with Maokai, so taking W first is not worth here.
I'm also of the same mindset. I thought that the maxing W here is like standard. I did some research myself afterwards and found out that depending on the matchup, sometimes Ornns do max Q, and that it's like it could be better for like a passive lane. This is here we're setting up the gank, so I help out Trundle with the Skull Crab, and then I walk back top.
By the way, you guys get hard outscaled.
That's something I want to ask about.
That Maokai.
Yeah, he's a bit of a flashy player.
But it's Maokai. Yeah, I mean it's
Maokai.
right. This is super easy. It's Trundle level 6, so he has his R, and Maokai doesn't have any items right now. So even if he doesn't have R, even if he ganks at level 5, it's an easy kill. Trundle and Maokai are a really good combo. But that's the thing. Whenever Trundle pats top lane, Maokai should already be half health for him to gank him and kill him. That's how you want to do it.
Yeah,
but if you don't soften him up, I think your jungler will not look at it as an opportunity to kill him.
Because then the mind state will be, oh, it's a tank, we can't kill him, he'll just flash away or Q us.
Yeah, exactly. So, the thing about the jungler is he wants to make his pathing as efficient as possible. So once he's done pathing all of the red side jungle, he will do the blue side jungle, and then hopefully, if top lane is a good timing to gank, he will do it. But if he sees that it's not, he won't do it. And it doesn't hurt for him to do it at that point, because he already ended up clearing the red side and the blue side. That's how a lot of good junglers get leads, by ganking lanes that have the potential to be ganked, right?
Yeah, that's completely true.
Yeah. So how do I say this? Yeah, so the point about you guys getting hard outscaled. Actually, let's not talk about that point. Let's talk about Ornn actually. So Ornn, you want to reach level 14 as fast as possible, right?
Yeah, that was the main goal of like the whole game style and the mental state that we were in.
Right.
Is to like play as safe as like risk-free as possible to guarantee like the smooth sailing to level 14.
And in order to reach level 14 first, of course these early game ganks do help, because you will have a level advantage over the Maokai, and he will not bully you out of the lane once he reaches 1 or 2 core items. So you will continuously get EXP from the side lanes. So these early game ganks, they might not help that much in terms of getting your whole team ahead, but it will help you reach those levels faster. So yeah, just try to set up for ganks by softening up your opponents with constant harass.
For sure, especially in a matchup, even if it looks like a dead tank versus tank matchup.
Exactly. Alright, so we're gonna speed this up a bit. So Maokai TPs, and then you recall here. And then you don't have to use your TP here. Good choice.
The mentality was to use TP only if I'm going to miss a wave, so I can stay up on XP, or if there's a dragon fight or a skirmish, at the other side of the map that I need to go take care of.
So you saw how Maokai engaged on you, right?
Yeah.
That is unacceptable behavior from him. He needs to be punished by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him
Another.
going WQ like that? You have to immediately WQE, use auto attack, even use your ultimate if you get it back or something. Use your Grasp of the Undying and he gets half health. You really need to punish these kinds of disrespectful behaviors from the top laners. If you're planning to become a top laner, this is extremely important. You cannot allow the enemy top laner to dominate you in terms of the mentality, right? If he's getting away with disrespectful shit like this, it means he doesn't see you as an equal. He sees you as food, as
Yeah.
as
He's softening me up for a
ex-
gank, and yeah.
exactly. And the mindset that you have to go with top lane is you want to be kind of like the parental figure in the game that everyone can depend on to bring food to the table. And everyone can rely on in case anything bad happens. I think that's the role that you should take as a top laner. So in order to do that, you cannot let the other parental figure out wrestle you here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. I should have W'd and canceled this QCC,
Yeah, exactly.
and then just outtraded him with Brittle. You're absolutely right.
So you're unsure of where Kane might be. So
Yeah,
I can see why you're playing quite safe here.
yeah. At this point, I realized that we don't know where Kane is on the map, and he hasn't transformed yet. He hasn't gotten early transformation. Up there, he is.
You can kill him.
Yeah,
There's a kill here.
keep watch. Yeah, keep watch. Yeah,
Oh my
it doesn't
goodness.
work.
Wait.
Yeah, it does.
No. No.
Yeah, so this is where disaster strikes, and I try to go for the Cade kill, and keep in mind, my ulti comes up only at the very end there. Like, if you rewatch the replay, I don't have ult until, like, I use it all the way there. But this was a disaster. Like, mechanically, I should have killed him, but it was a complete disaster.
Wait. No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's yeah, all the way down. At 2 seconds still, can't use my ulti still. And then the second it comes up, yeah, I pop it, I'm just dead immediately.
Right. So I can tell you a way that you can kill him without dying.
Yeah, this is the main reason, because this is like 100%. I know I could have killed him here if I played better, but I didn't. I played really badly.
So you move towards here, and here is the time when you have to fall back and use your ultimate.
Nice.
Use your ultimate, knock Kane up. He's gonna have to use flash, and if he uses flash, then it's worth. You survived the 2v1 and you burned flash from both the Maokai and the Kane. Wait, not the Maokai, he already burned flash. You burned the flash from the Kane, so you don't have to kill him here. But let's say he doesn't flash his ultimate, he doesn't flash your ultimate, and he gets around this much health, then you can flash on him with one auto attack and kill him. And I don't think Maokai can actually kill you after that. You can just E away.
So the mistake was flashing in on him here. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
You only want to flash in with auto attack if you know for sure that you're gonna kill him. Yeah.
I overestimate my damage, and I think that I have like I think I had the damage to like in my head. I thought I had enough damage to kill him with like an auto attack here, but I didn't. He was able to like immediately escape and then heal off, and then I just died.
Yeah. Disaster.
Yeah, absolute disaster.
And
So
yeah.
this is a point where I spawn. I'm like, okay, I need to TP back, get some XP, because I was frustrated because I didn't want to lose out on the XP. That was a very stupid way to die. So
That was also a really bad TP because you don't gain anything out of it.
I end up only getting 2 casters, which is not worth. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I should have saved the TP for another skirmish bot or something. That was mostly out of frustration, which is my bad. I shouldn't have done that.
And I think Maokai and Kane are taking Rift Herald at the moment. If they're not, they're probably recalled. But I think they're taking Rift Herald. It'd be weird for them not to take it at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure they backed. They didn't bother with their
Oh.
Herald this game.
Okay. Alright, so this might be a chance for you to take... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you building?
I think, yeah, I was finishing Sunfire Cape here.
Sunfire Cape against Maokai?
Yeah, so the way I thought about it is normally Ornn goes Sunfire Abyssal, but I disrespected Maokai and I didn't give, like, I didn't respect his damage, so I went Sunfire Cape because it gives me like the shove priority in lanes thanks to like the it was misplayed. I should have definitely went for Abyssal Mask first, but I end up going for the Sunfire so I can shove him into tower was like the mindset behind it.
You can shove him into tower, but is that not... I guess, look, if your team wanted to play through topside, then of course you wanna... No, sorry. If your team wanted to play for that Rift Herald, and... Oh, shit, can you hear that lightning? Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
I can barely hear it.
Alright. If your team wanted to let you roam, so you go mid lane, and then you pop your ultimate and you get a kill on mid lane, then the reasoning behind taking Sunfire is okay, because you're pushing out the lane and you're being useful outside of the lane. But in this case, I don't think you were planning to go mid lane and then, you know, force a flash or ultimate from Zillion, or I don't even think you were planning on taking the Rift Herald before 14 minutes. So if that's not the case, why take Sunfire, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then.
Sure.
If I'm building Abyssal Mask, what should I prioritize? Because Abyssal Mask builds out of Negatron Cloak and the Catalyst of Aeons. Should I prioritize getting Catalyst or Negatron Cloak in this matchup?
Catalyst first. Catalyst first, because Maokai, during the early levels, his magic damage is not very significant to affect you. You will win that matchup regardless whether you have Negatron Cloak or not. What you want instead is you want the HP and the mana, and I don't remember what the passive for Catalyst is, but you want that instead than the 45 MR that you get from the Negatron Cloak. MR becomes more significant the longer the game goes, so right about now, when you're finishing your first core item, MR becomes more significant against Maokai.
And if you hit tab, Maokai did rush the Spectral Hood. He's going for his Visage first item, yeah, as you can see at the bottom there. He's going for Spectral Hood and the Kindle Gem. So he ends up itemizing against me, and I just end up not able to trade with him ever after this. Like, you just kind of stonewalls me in lane. But yeah. But in a matchup against like Lissandra or Rise or Vladimir, it would be better to rush Negatron Cloak over the Catalyst. It's just that in this matchup, I rushed the Catalyst so that because Maokai's damage isn't enough to justify the Negatrons early on.
Right. So I do think in this matchup you do want to get Abyssal Mask first, and then you can go for the Sunfire, because you know you wanna win Maokai in the lane, even though you might not think that you can do it. You gotta soften him up, and then Trundle can come and then kill him with his ultimate, right?
Yeah, the mental state of how we approach this lane was so wrong. This game was awful.
And it's actually very hard to do. Like, don't get me wrong. People, because of how solo queue is, you guys might not think about the matchups that much, but it's quite important, especially in more coordinated environments like this.
Which is why I wanted this game in particular, because I know there were so many mistakes here. Even though it was a tank versus tank matchup, I played it so bad. It was...
Yeah. Someone followed me, but it doesn't appear on my phone's chat for some reason, so I don't know what their name is.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. I can't be like, thanks for following me. Whoever it was, thank you sincerely. but I can't see it on my phone's chat for some reason. Okay, so anyways, now it has become kind of stale because you have Sunfire, which means you're constantly going to be pushing the lane no matter what.
Yeah.
You cannot freeze the lane no matter what you do, which means you don't have ways to set up for ganks, and you just have to hope that you aren't wasting time pushing the lane here. Now, there's a skirmish going bot side, but because you wasted your TP trying to get 2 caster minions, now you can't help them.
Yeah, this was a big problem. I should have saved TP for that skirmish, and I should have actually used the fact that I had so much free time thanks to Sunfire. I didn't do any of those things. If you watch, I do something very stupid soon enough. It's really bad.
Oh, the person Yovita. The person who followed me is someone I know. It's the owner of Venasio Esports, one of the organizations that I'm working with. Thank you for following me. Yeah. Anyways, so this matchup continues, and I think you're really close to taking the turret plate here, but I don't think you want to greet it because this is what's gonna happen to you, right?
Yep, and this isn't the last time this kind of mistake happens in the game. And yeah, it's bad because even if I E out, yeah, I'm tanking 2 tower shots.
This is the big problem here. You have Sunfire, so you immediately proc aggro from the turret, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't have Sunfire, instead had Abyssal Mask, as long as you don't damage Maokai, you wouldn't get hit by the turret. But because you had Sunfire and you greeted for that turret plate, now you're gonna get heavily punished by it. So
yeah, I lose half my health, even though I E out and everything. 1 tower shot's enough to make me lose the trade completely.
yeah, but I think as long as you continuously try to trade with Maokai with your Ws, it should be okay. But you haven't been doing this at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the time where I thought mistakenly that this is when I should trade with him. I played the lane in reverse. I should have been trading with him early, but I decided to trade with him now for some reason.
Yeah, especially when the turret is right here, right, in the minion waves here. Oh. Okay. So the laning phase continues. Not much happening. We'll just fast forward it. Yep. So you're not really trading with him. You're just pushing the lane, and you have a lot of free time, so you build an item for yourself. And whenever you push the lane, there must be a reason behind it. You can't just mindlessly push lanes, right? You want to get advantages somewhere else in the map. So in this case, if you push this lane and Maokai has to take all these minions, rotate towards Herald. Get some vision around the river so that Kayn and Zillion, if they show up around the river, you will know and you will react accordingly.
That is a very good point. I made very bad usage of my free time in top. I should have roamed mid more, and I should have also warded. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
If you take Sunfire, you want to push the lane. You won't have kill pressure that much because you're pushing the lane, but you want to make something out of it, right? Whether it's to take Rift Herald now with the Trundle here, or whether it's to take some vision or just check river in general, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you see that Kayn is bot side, right? So this is actually your chance to push this wave out and then take Rift Herald. Okay. Yeah, so you keep making that mistake, right?
Yeah, that's the second time that I make the same mistake and I get punished for it.
Right, and this is really, really bad. Trundle deciding to path towards bot lane after taking his blue side jungle is really bad here. Because he's wasting time too, right? I don't know what he's doing. He's supposed to take this Rift Herald and crash, take the top turret, get first turret gold. You're not gonna get the turret place because it's almost 14 minutes. But at least you will get first turret gold, and you will open up the ability for you to just roam around the map now without having to worry about the enemy turrets.
Yeah, that's true. I should have called that out. I should have told my jungler to come to Rift Herald. I just didn't. I was very bad on communications this game as well. Yeah.
So you see that Kayn is actually doing the dragon with his bot lane, so if Trundle goes bot, there's nothing he can get out of this. He won't get shit. He has to get this Rift Herald now, or you guys will be eternally behind in terms of tempo.
Which is exactly what happens, funnily enough.
But funnily enough, this game went on for 38 minutes, which is what I'm wondering why.
You'll see soon enough, yeah. It's a disaster, that's all I can say for now.
Alright. Kayn is here.
Yeah, so I try to back off as soon as I can.
I don't think you have to flash here.
Okay, so how do you think I should have run away without flashing? Like, what would be like the sequence that I use? So the way I did it is I wait for Maokai to like Q me, and then I E out.
E out? What does Maokai have left? He only has his Q. Kayn is not red yet. Red form.
He's normal Kayn, yeah.
Oh, so his W is just gonna slow, which means you just walk. That's it, you just walk. There's not, well, like, you will get caught.
Yeah, the Maokai ultimate made me a bit nervous, and I guess, yeah, I just flashed out of fear. Yeah, that's completely fair. I shouldn't have flashed you, right?
You walk here, you get ulted by Maokai's ult, but you still have your ultimate. So in case anything funny happens, which I don't think it will, because they will realize, ah shit, he's under turret now. It's not like we can kill him. You can use your ultimate if they still decide to dive you, and if they do, they're gonna die. They will die. Right. So the flash was unnecessary here.
Yeah, it was a wasted resource.
You still have to be very careful though, because Kayn might still be around. And now that you don't have flash and you're pushed up pretty far up in lane, can be quite dangerous. What the fuck did wait?
Yeah, so Kayn never ends up taking Mountain Drake because he comes top. So my team actually manages to get the Mountain Drake.
No, I mean he was bot side a while ago. Why didn't he take it during that time?
Yeah, my guess is as good as yours. It's Clash. It's NA Clash, so you know.
All right. Wait, I think you have to get away from here because Maokai is TPing, but you didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, I completely missed that. I didn't see it at all. So you're right. If I actually did notice, I should have backed off. But I think, yeah, I just kill Kayn here. I kill Kayn and then try to make it out. Yeah, and then Zillion kills me with Maokai.
Yeah, that's why a while ago when I said that you didn't have to flash, you kind of understand what Ornn's damage is capable of here, right? So if you are here and they decide to continuously harass you because you're CC'd by Maokai's ultimate, you can just go on, use your own ultimate, use your Q, use your W, you just spam all of your abilities and Kayn will die if he continues chasing you under turret, because Ornn he might be a tank, but he's fucking strong for a tank.
Also, this is really bad because Kayn gets transformation off of that gank. Like, Kayn goes back to base and immediately gets red form.
And here's the thing, you keep using your TPs to go back to lane, which is very not ideal for Ornn.
What do you think that TP, like, so other than the bot lane skirmish that I should have TP'd for, what should I be looking for to TP at this point in the game? Should it just be exclusively dragon fights or, you know, mid lane fights, bot lane fights? Is that what I should be looking for predominantly?
I mean, it goes beyond that, right? Because you burned TP here, because you didn't want to miss that big wave, and I understand, you don't want to miss the cannon wave, but what should have happened is you shouldn't have burnt TP in the first place. So you shouldn't have gotten in that scenario where you died and you had to go back to lane with TP. Because you go back to lane to TP, The next dragon is gonna come soon, but you won't have TP by then, and Maokai will also not have TP by then, but
The right play was for me to have TP so I can have the advantage over him. Yeah.
exactly, and I think the next dragon is actually Wind Dragon. I'm not sure. Let me check. Oh, it's Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, it's Ocean Rift, yeah.
You do not want to give that to the enemy team. That is suicide for you guys. You guys have no way of... You guys have no consistent damage in your team to deal with Maokai and Leona and Kayn all together. They get Ocean, they win.
No, you're completely right. You're on point.
But anyways, you're reaching level 14 soon, and the gold lead is not that different between the both of you, so I'm still hopeful for this game.
At this point in time, I was pretty optimistic because I was also out CSing Maokai. Like, I did a good job out CSing him for the most part. At this point, I was like 30 CS up on him. But it ultimately ends up not mattering because of the misitemization and the wasted time that I didn't do anything.
You don't win him anymore, by the way.
Yeah, he has Spirit Visage now, so he heals like 300 off of his passive. It was impossible to trade with him at this point.
Now it becomes the real wet noodle fight. Because both of you have such good tank stats that no matter how much harass you do, it just doesn't come through, right? Like, look at this. He's not losing any health. And you aren't either because he doesn't do any damage. Yeah, so the window you had is gone, and it's not worth harassing him now. I don't know why you are harassing him now, actually. You should have done this way earlier.
It's just the faulty mindset that I had coming into this matchup.
And it's disaster in the bot lane, actually. If you take a look at they gave up first turret. They are, I think, around 40 CS behind your ADCs.
Which is something that wouldn't have been that much of a disaster if Trundle and I cracked top with their tailed earlier. But yeah, we missed that point as well, so they get first tower, and Tristana gets a gigantic lead with like 40 CS up in a kill.
She has an extra core item over Misfortune, basically. And right, so you see the skirmish happening in the bot side, right? And the way you win against Maokai is you have TP advantage, so you can go and, you know, it becomes a 4v5 and you guys decimate them because you have numbers advantage. That's why in a wet noodle fight, having TP is everything. And in order to make it so that you have TP is you want to force the Maokai to not have TP. So you get the Trundle, you kill him multiple times so he TPs back to lane and you have the TP. And when you get back to lane, you don't lose anything because the wave is under his turret.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure, that's absolutely how I should have done it.
So if you can...
I didn't know how to use my free time. I botched my TPs, and all the free time I had to actually TP was wasted. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I could have won the game for my team if I did what you said.
I think,
right.
Yeah. And I also think that if you can do the things that I ask of you here, as Ornn, then this game is won with you being you would have just carried this game basically, because you would have such an advantage in terms of using your teleport over the Maokai. But of course, that's you can always work on it. Don't worry.
For sure, I'll be trying my best to change the mindset and get better at just general Ornn mechanics and trade patterns, just to avoid these kind of problems in the future.
Right, and I think also that if you want to be able to think differently about some certain matchups, you just have to watch them beforehand. So let's say you go into your next game and it's Jax versus Ornn. Maybe your initial mindset of it would be Ornn loses against Jax, but because Jax has his E that counters your W and then auto attack, right?
Yeah.
So your auto attack doesn't come through, which means your brittle passive from your W doesn't come through. If that's the case, maybe you don't want to trade against Jax, but actually Um, there are certain trade patterns that you can do with Ornn that will make it so that Jax cannot trade with you and you will win out.
Yeah,
And in order to know how it's done, you just have to look at other high elo Ornn players, right? Maybe you might need to watch, I don't know, like a pro player you like, and you see, oh, he's playing Ornn versus Jackson. That's how he plays the matchup, and then you're like, okay, I understand how to play this lane now. Um, and it will give you a good idea because they're playing at the highest level, so they understand the limits of their champions much more than we do, right?
This is a question I want to ask you, just as a coach, as somebody with so much experience. When I'm trying to get better at the game, should I be watching pro players from my region, or should I watch Korean or Chinese pro players who have, done a lot better than Western teams in the pro scene? Who should I be emulating? The pros of my region or the pros of better regions is kind of the question I'm asking you here.
I think that's actually a really interesting and difficult question. Let me think about it for a sec. I think because there are a lot of people in the world right now, and well, what am I even saying? There's bound to be really good Jax players in China, maybe, and maybe they know something that we don't know, and so they win out against the Ornn in the Jax versus Ornn matchup. If that's the case, then obviously you want to watch them play, right? But if you don't know, or if you can't find these really good Chinese Jax players that would decimate Ornns in their solo queues, then you would just want to watch people from your own region because every server has a different way of playing the game.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we differed in opinion. And I just wanted a third opinion since I know that Koreans and Chinese players are much better at the game than Western teams. But since I am in NA, what I do is I emulate as well as I can, obviously the pro builds and the strats that NA players use for the most part, of course, as you can see from this game. But yeah, I was just wondering if I should try maybe watching Chinese or Korean players and try to do what they do.
I think
But yeah, I'll,
for top lane, watching Korean players play is actually quite useful because they're constantly pushing your limits. They will not give you any time to breathe. If this was a Korean Maokai, or if this was a Korean Ornn, they will just constantly push you without even regarding the junglers. So how it happens is the two top laners in Korea will duke it out, and they're both just praying to God that their jungler comes before the enemy jungler.
I see. Okay.
And it becomes super coin flippy in that case. And maybe that's not really good. That's not really a good way to play in NA, but it will teach you what the limits of the champions are. But it won't
So
teach you how to play in this particular region. So if you wanna, you can take information from both of these servers and adapt, right? You can become the best of both.
yeah, I guess that's good advice. I'll watch both and try to emulate both playstyles to make sure that I understand both. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Okay. Very nice question, by the way. So the wet noodle fight continues.
Yeah, at this point, we're basically just waiting for team fights. Nothing's gonna happen in this lane anymore. It's quite dead. Which I think one of them is coming soon.
Right, so this is Ocean Drake, the third Ocean Drake. I think the enemy team just decided to give it up, which is really interesting.
Oh, okay, yeah, welcome to NA, dude. It's a mess. It's a complete mess.
I know, but this is Clash, right? I mean, people are supposed to be
Yeah,
coordinating.
this is tier 2 Clash.
Okay.
So yeah.
I like how Syndra went bot lane for no reason.
We definitely have to work on our rotations and stuff like that, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we'll fast forward a bit, because I think, honestly, nothing's happening between the two of you.
I think you can safely basically fast forward until team fights begin. There's 3 fights in this game that happen that I'd like your analysis on. So it's, yeah, over here. Over here. This is the first one. And yeah, I just want to hear your opinion of all of this shitfest that's about to occur.
Okay, I mean, the first thing that I immediately notice is you guys don't have ward around the river.
So where do you propose we should be warding in this scenario, right? Like where do you think we should be placing the
You
wards?
guys can't. You guys either should have already have wards around here, or there's the other option. You cannot go through this choke point. This is extremely dangerous. This bush, this bush, this bush, anyone can jump on you with their amount of CC that they have in their team. So what you want to do is you want to kind of decrease the number of places where you will get surprised. In this case, because you have vision around the dragon pit and you have vision around this bush, and one more thing, you have vision around here, all of you should start pathing towards this area. So everyone can now fight in one linear kind of
Corridor. Yeah.
right. So the chances of them jumping on you are extremely low because the only one that can actually do that is Kane. He can go through the walls here, but that's much better than having all of the different champions like Maokai, Leona, and Zillion staying here. And you know, if you think about their team comp, Maokai's saplings have so much value in terms of controlling objectives and providing vision for the enemy team. So you definitely do not want to go through this corridor. This is suicide. You definitely want to go through here because I'm sure they don't have anything prepared here. And if they do, it's just even if that's the case, it's just much easier for you to team fight. Ornn ult.
Yeah, it's a better fight. It's a better fight over there than it is in the choke. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Ornn ult, and then Misfortune ult, Sona ult, Syndra Scatter the Weak. This is beautiful for you guys. This is the way that you want to fight. You never want to be fighting around these areas where people have space to move in. I guess fighting in the lane is okay too, but for example, let's say you're around Baron. You want to fight around here. You don't want to fight around here because there's a lot of space for them to move, right?
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
But knowing how you guys have been playing this entire game, I think all of you will try to go here, fail, and then just give up dragon. But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Right, so you can see it's impossible to go through this area. It's impossible. Oh? Wait, what the fuck?
Yup.
Huh.
Yeah, they actually troll just as much as we do.
Wait, where's the Zillion ult?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. What? What?
Yeah, welcome to
Well, a good job. I mean, good job. You're punishing their mistakes.
This is what the comp is supposed to do, right? So this is like the only team fight where it actually works. Like this is what we built our whole comp for. But then like you'll see in the next like coming fights, God knows what will happen. So like you can skip forward now for like the next fight. So like here, okay, so this fight again we're fighting for Drake. This is our soul point.
This is extremely important. You guys have to get this, no matter what.
Yeah, and you can see at this point we're still down in gold. Like the Tristanas is so far ahead at this point in time, and we're far down on gold. But yeah,
what's really impressive though is that your Trundle is not that far behind over the Kane, even though Kane has a much faster clear speed than Trundle does.
Yeah. Also, this is another mistake we did here. So I'm level 16 at this point, but unfortunately my support and my mid don't have items I can upgrade just yet. So I'm sitting on an upgrade that I can't give to anybody.
I don't think your support will ever build an item that you can upgrade.
I think it's just redemption. Redemption or locket. So if Sona gets redemption, I can upgrade it. That was like the plan. And then Syndra, it's just death cap, which I believe she was getting the death cap like she was building it right now. She just didn't have the money to finish it before this fight.
The itemization from Syndra here is... it's okay, I think. Maybe she can get a Void Staff instead of a Death Cap, considering they're starting to build MR now. But yeah, I guess it's okay. Yeah, as you said, you really do need that Ornn empowerment here, so she needs to get the Death Cap. And Sona, I'm sorry, but she's not gonna build Redemption this game. She's gonna go Seraph's Embrace, and then probably a Lich Bane after that. Combat Sona.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's the same scenario again, right? You guys did not prepare for the dragon at all, so now you guys have to walk into it blind, and thank God there's the Squire's Bloom there, but they just have so much zoning from the Zillia bombs, from the Maokai saplings, and you know, Leona could be right here at this very moment with Kayn, waiting to flank and CC you guys.
Okay, so yeah, this is the fight that turns the whole game around, and this is basically... Okay, so I'll try to give you what like the comms happened here. So this was awful. This was just really bad. So yeah, so if you go back, you will see that Kayn came from like the wall. He came from like behind the dragon wall to flank our backline. I go in because there was a miscommunication between my jungler and I, because our jungler is the shot caller. So he asked me if my Ornn ult was up, and I took it as he wanted me to ult, so I ulted and I went in, and that was awful because as you can see, like, I only got the Zillion, I didn't get anybody else, and our Syndra got, like, is in the middle of the fight with Maokai ulti, like, snaring her. So this was a complete disaster, and yeah, you can keep playing it, and we get destroyed.
Wow, what the hell? You still managed? What?
Yeah,
Dude!
I ended up getting a triple kill, but because because everyone else died, I just die, right? Like so that whole fight was like awfully played, because like if you go back, my team and I went over this VOD together, and like we all said like what could have happened, right? But so it's like if we actually like if our carries, like if the Syndra or the MF actually lived, we would have won the fight. But like Syndra's like in the thick of it, and if you look at the side, like if you scroll towards the left, you can see Kayn. Yeah, Kayn is in the wall, about to flank our bot lane, and they have no peel. Like we don't have the Syndra, we don't have the Trundle, and yeah, it just loses the fight. We just end up throwing here like crazy.
You know, even though you guys all died, you managed to get a triple kill after that, which is the most surprising and worrying thing about this game, that you managed to get a triple kill despite all 5 of them still being alive. That is very worrying for the quality of your games, but it's it's also good because you managed to get a triple kill, so you're punishing their mistakes. Ornn God, yeah. But anyways, so we can go over this, right? I think your teammates had a bunch of different opinions, but I'm gonna do the mic drop here. And obviously, this is a bad scenario for you guys to be in. As I said, let's say Kayn came from here. The result wouldn't have changed. You guys would have still lost because you guys are getting flanked from the sides by the Kayn. So what do you have to do? You have to make it so it's easier for you guys to navigate around this objective. And as I said a while ago, this is the best place for you guys, because I'm 100% sure that Kayn will not try to flank from this side, because I think that's much harder to do than flanking from this side. Considering that you have vision here, and also the way that you guys can set up your ultimates around this area is much easier than setting it up here, because there are a lot of pressure points like over here and over here that Kayn can just abuse. So that's one thing. You guys could have just fought over this side of the map instead of fighting it over here. But let's say you had to fight it here because they were rushing the Ocean Drake. Okay, so we can make a few adjustments then. You guys are getting zoned out as usual. Maokai gets stunned. This is bad. I don't know why you're ulting. There is no reason for you to ult here other than just to start the fight. You're doing this just to start the fight. You're not doing this to get anything out of your ultimate.
And it was badly positioned as well. Like, I could have clipped like 4 of them, but I only went for the Leona and Tristana. It was just a bad ult in general.
So how do you want to do this? Well, whatever. You did this ult. Now, you're Ornn, right? What is your job? You're the tank. You want to soak up damage. You want to peel for your carries. Your carries are very vulnerable right now because of Kayn here. So, if you go in on the Zilean, they will all be left to themselves to deal with Maokai, Leona, and Kayn. Right? So, because I watched this team fight, and you're constantly dealing with the Zilean, and you're like 50 miles away from your entire team. While Maokai is actually doing his job of peeling for his Tristana. Where's his Tristana actually? I don't. Oh, there he is. Right. So Tristana's here, and she's getting a lot of value. She's getting a lot of value. Right. I think that team fight went a bit too quickly for you to see, but
it's a complete madness. Like, once the Kayn makes his way towards my backline, everyone just dies.
I think the big thing here is that your Syndra got snared by Maokai's W. Kayn coming here, yes, it's difficult, but he can't be dealt with an easy Sona ultimate and then just burst damage from both Misfortune and this Syndra. But Misfortune gets rooted here. Not Misfortune. Syndra gets rooted here. So you don't have a mid laner anymore. You lost the fight. And what would have helped here is if you saved your E and used it on the Leona, or you didn't ult at all, right? You just waited for a better opportunity so that this mess doesn't happen, and instead you are closer to your team instead of being so far away from everyone else. Now, that is the improvement that you could have made. In terms of what everyone else could have made, now that's a whole different story. I think Syndra positioned horribly here, considering she was so close to Maokai and Leona, right? There should never be a case where you're this close to these two CC bots. And Sona, that's the thing about Sona being drafted here, right? She's not providing any value to the team. That's why I said, when I look at this team, Sona, I get the logic as to why you wanted to pick Sona for that wombo combo team fight. But most of the cases, team fights don't usually go that way.
What other supports would have fit this team comp like better in your opinion? Like, what should we go for in the support picks to like kind of give us like this team fight presence, like team comp?
I think Morgana would have been a better option.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Morgana, Black Shield the Syndra here, so she doesn't get rooted. Syndra lives. Morgana goes in with her ultimate and then Zhonya's. So then these 3 tanks are being stunned by her ultimate, right? So that gives you space, that gives Trundle space, that gives everyone here space. Maybe not the Misfortune because she's getting killed by Kayn. Right. But I think Trundle should be the one peeling for the Misfortune at this moment, right? Okay. Yeah, so Morgana would have been better. Thresh. Thresh in this case. I think Thresh would have been okay too, because you get to put down the box, and you guys have a lot of pick potential with the Syndra and the Thresh. It's good synergy together. The Thresh would have been better here. Basically, Sona doesn't do anything. She's so useless here. I think Lulu would have been better. I think Soraka would have been better. I think Nami would have been better. And all of these enchanters are better than Sona because of one reason. They have better peel.
I see.
Yeah. They have better peel. Soraka maybe not so much because her E does... It's a silence, but a silence is very significant compared to having a stun that is available every 120 seconds as your ultimate.
That's true.
Z
I mispositioned this fight. So the way I could have played this fight better is if I stayed next to my team and ulted properly. Okay, so that's what I should be aiming for as Ornn. Okay.
And if possible, you also want to, you know, if you can be the shot caller, tell your team to not fight in such a dangerous position. You know, you have no vision around here, you had no vision around here. You managed to get vision here, but that's because your enemy is bad. If your enemy was good, there would be like three saplings waiting for you here, and then Zilean would just zone you out with the bombs. It will be impossible for you guys to actually get in there.
So the whole fight started on a mistake from the enemy because we went from the choke. So if this fight was to be ideal, we would have gone from the back, right? And then like team fight like front to back while peeling for our MF with like Ornn and Trundle.
Exactly. And admin said that Zyra and Braum are also good choices here. I think Braum not so much, considering there isn't many skills you can shield, right? Braum likes to shield projectiles, but what projectiles are there other than maybe Tristana ultimate and her auto attacks?
I can definitely see Zyra though. Like Zyra ulti would like split the fight, would give us time. But
Zyra ulti would be nice, especially with Misfortune. The knock-up with Misfortune's E and her ultimate, it would be really nice. And you already have 2 tanks in the team, so there's no need... Right, so Sona is just so useless here. She's so useless.
So we should have drafted better. We should have just had like a CC mage or like a kind of CC heavy enchantress bot rather than the Sona.
Well,
yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yes, you should have drafted better, but just for you, individually, there could have been a lot of better things you could have done.
So yeah, we'll just stick to my team and ulti close to like my team and get a good ult in and use my E to peel, not to like die from Brazilian.
I'm just so surprised you managed to get a triple kill here. Like,
this is the most frustrating thing about this game is the enemy team wasn't that good. Like we could have won this game easily, but
yeah.
we played worse than they did, which is shocking because you can see like how bad they were. Like,
I agree. Well, good job on getting a triple kill, but unfortunately you don't get soul out of that.
So we did like this is the second fight, and it happens quite quickly. But yeah, this is the fight.
That was actually a really good pillar. Where are you? Oh.
I'm over there. Yeah, I'm coming with the Sona, and then our Syndra goes up there.
You should have ulted here. You should have ulted here for sure. This is a kill.
So I should have been here and ulted. Okay. Alright.
No, I mean, you don't have to be there. Your Ornn ultimate will reach Zilean here.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right.
Look at your position. This is Ornn ult.
Yeah.
Right here.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
And if Misfortune moves up, it's a kill. No, you burn Zilean's ultimate, but even if he uses his ultimate, it's a waste. Because he's not gonna get away. So I think your jungler at this moment was telling you, let's get the Zilean, but you weren't prepared. So that's your fault. You should have ulted here.
Okay. That's fact, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just our Syndra gets in this position. So this, I ult here to try and stop the engage, but Maokai cues me out of it. And then MF just solo ults the Maokai, and then everything goes to shit. Like everything. So he gets the ult, he gets the Zilean ulti, we can't do anything. Ross shows up, and then it's just kind of game over. Right, so I'm still alive, but I'm not really doing anything. him, yeah, the game is just lost.
Wait, you guys survived till now? Oh.
Yeah. So this is the last mistake that
my
ends the
God.
game. We try to prepare for soul because we still have a chance, I guess, if we get the soul. Our Sona ends up overstepping a bit too much, so she goes to ward try, and as she wards, yeah, two people are waiting for her. She just like pops, and now we're a man down. We just lose the fight.
Here comes the big bad tree. Oh my god, that Kano. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. How about... Alright. I think we've seen enough. Okay, NA Clash is a meme. I think, you know, if you get a little bit better, you guys can win it all. Thanks for the follow, unknown person. I cannot see who followed me because my chat on my phone doesn't show me who followed, so I'm sorry, but thanks for following anyways. Anyways, yeah, let's summarize everything. Okay, Shuma Cherries, thank you for following me. Let's summarize everything that we've learned today, right? The first thing is, in terms of your laning phase as Ornn. Ornn versus Maokai. Wait, Ornn is 2 ends, right?
Yeah, 2 ends.
That's so dumb. Why is it 2 ends? But anyways.
Stylized name.
Okay.
It's just a stylized name.
Ornn versus Maokai. In terms of the laning phase, how should you approach it?
So, I should have been more aggressive early on, and less aggressive as he finished his first item and second component. And if I'm going to go Sunfire, I should have used my free time better, but I should have gone Abyssal Mask first and saved my TPs for better plays rather than go back to lane with my TP.
Right. So you summarized it really succinctly, and that's good actually, because that's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I'm paying attention, my man. I want to get better, yeah. So it's like I don't want to like waste your time and my time.
Yeah.
I'm actually.
There's another thing. Yeah, so Abyssal is OP on Ornn. I think I mentioned about TP, right? TP advantage. It's very important in these matchups where you can't really do much after Maokai gets his first core, but before he gets his first core, there is a window for you to solo kill him.
Yeah. A question I want to ask.
Sure.
Is, if I want to practice TPing and getting like a TP sense as like a top laner to like get good TPs bot and mid, how do I get that practice? Like how do I develop a good sense to use my TP in that manner? Is there like anything, like any like rules or any like fundamental understanding I need to use my TP to roam to other lanes and help my team in skirmishes?
Of course there is, and that one thing is wave management.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, let's say let's say your turret is still here, and there's a fight going around in the mid lane, and let's say you're here, and you see this big ass minion wave pushing up to you. Are you going to TP here?
Well, no, because then I lose all of that, and that's like half a level and like 200 gold worth of minions.
So here's the thing. You have to do this thing where you assess the risk and reward of taking the TP there. If there are 5 people currently killing 4 of your members under turret in the mid lane, you have to go. You cannot ignore that, because it's all of the entire team is trying to fight your team under turret. So if you ignore that, you guys are gonna get really far behind, and what will come out of it is you will get like 200 extra gold here, which is not as significant as potentially killing 4 people, because you will gain so much value from fighting under the turret against all of these people, right? So this is what you have to understand. There are cases when your TP will be very useful. So in this case, if there are 5 people trying to kill your teammates and you see the opportunity to go for it, but there will also be cases when it's not 5 people. Let's say it's only 3 people diving the mid turret, and then it's your Syndra, Sona, and Misfortune under the mid turret. If that's the case, and you see this big wave, don't go. Right? It's not gonna be worth it even if you do go.
So the answer to should I TP or not should always be kind of like a balance of like what is the risk versus reward? What am I losing to TP and what am I gaining for TPing? And if the gain is higher than the loss, I should do it, and if it isn't, I shouldn't.
Right, but other than the risk and reward balance, it's about how you manipulate your waves. The thing is, if you are in a scenario where the wave is like this, as Ornn, that is a no-no. That's why Ornn, you want to get the Sunfire, second item, so that this never happens to you. You never miss any minions, and there was never a big wave for you to catch up to.
I see.
Because then you will have the timing to TP without using this big wave. So you need the Sunfire to clear these minions out quickly. I think if you use all of your spells on this minion wave and you still have your TP, you might make it on time there, but that's a bit greedy, right?
Because then I TP with no cooldowns.
Exactly.
And that could be the the difference between us winning the fight and us losing the fight.
Right. So one of the best champions to learn how to practice on using TP is Shen.
And he is really good in the meta right now. So you suppose I should practice Shen and use since Shen can kind of cheat, I can ult somebody and then TP top, so I don't miss anything, even if the wave wasn't pushed towards me.
If you want to practice how to use TP, then you can try playing Shen, because with Shen, there are no repercussions of teleporting to one side of the map, because you can just teleport back to lane. And that will give you a good idea on assessing risk and reward. But a lot of really good Shen players, they don't actually take TP. If you've seen, I don't know, Xpetu or Shending Help, these EU West Shen one tricks, they go really weird Shen runes and summoner spells like Ignite with Halo Blades Shen, Ignite with Press the Attack Shen, and they do this because their ultimate already acts as a teleport, so they don't have to have teleport, and instead they can use those combative summoner spells to gain advantages in the lane. But then because they don't have that teleport, they have to play the lane much smarter than they do when they do run teleport. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. If they're looking at their ultimate that way, take the combat summoner and the combat keystone so that you have an easier chance winning lane and dominating lane, and then use your ulti for the sake of the teleport. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So actually, I will share a video. I think it was a Dongwat video of Shending Help, and he beautifully summarized how to play Shen in that video. So I think you should take a look at it, especially since he is one of the best Shen players. So yeah, make sure to take a look at that video. But yeah, in terms of Ornn, of course you're not Shen, so you can't do that, and you have to really be able to manipulate your waves better in order to get better timings on your teleport. You never want to be in a scenario, at least after your Sunfire is over, you never want to be in a scenario where you have to decide whether to take the wave or TP in lane.
If I am in this position where I'm deciding, that means I've played wave management wrong. I just didn't do my job as Ornn in shoving the wave. Is
Pretty
that
much,
correct?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's why if you look at competitive games, if it's a wet noodle fight, most of the top laners they just shove the lane. They don't try to freeze it at all. Yeah.
Well, this is basically the game.
Freezing is usually applied if it's more of like a bruiser versus bruiser matchup or a more volatile matchup. Yeah. Anyways, so there's one last thing in terms of team fighting. How are you going to approach it as Ornn now?
So, wait on my ult stay next to my team. Don't use E to dive. Use E to peel for my carries and to stave away threats. Don't isolate myself in a team fight, because if I isolate myself, my team has no peel. And try to be close to my team when I'm ulting, so that even if somebody does flank them while I'm engaging, I can still peel after I get done like dealing with the ult.
Okay then. Beautifully summarized again. So I'm glad that you were listening.
For
Okay.
sure, my man.
All
For
right.
sure. Yeah.
And the last thing about your mentality playing top lane. What is it?
So against as Ornn, against laners that are weak, since Ornn is a tank, I shouldn't think of him as just a tank, as Ornn is really strong for a tank. He has a lot of damage, so I should be able to outtrade and outmuscle most any tanks or bruisers in the game, as Ornn is especially strong against bruisers, and I should be using that kind of like outmuscling advantage to harass in lane and give them a hard time, and use my priority to go mid or War Drift Herald or whatever.
Very nice. Apparently, admin says that you're better on bruisers. I
I'm
haven't seen it,
I'm
but
I'm I'm mostly a Juggernaut main. My favorite champion to play top is Set. I love Set and Darius and Garen. Just those like big Juggernauts that like actually like dominate lane, and then have like a chance of hard carrying. That's what I normally play. But if I actually want to take the game seriously and I want to get better, I need to like add tanks and hyper carries like Camille or Fiora to my like champion pool as a top laner, so I can cover like all my bases if my team needs anything top. But
okay.
yeah, my weakest link, right, is the tanks, because I'm so used to being on a champion that does a lot of damage. Like, Seth does a fuck ton of damage and he like harasses very well. He has the free health regen. He has like the big, game changing ult top. So it's like I wanted your advice and help on the tank matchup in particular, because I feel like it's my weakest link. Like I'm most clueless on it, if that makes sense.
All
Even though I
right.
know tanks are like normally easy to play. Like that's like the stigma. Like tanks are like brain dead easy to play. But yeah, I'm missing so much information on them, which is why I sought out your help.
And I hope hopefully you learned a lot of useful information today.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem, no problem. All right then. I guess since we went over everything in this one VOD review and you summarized everything as well, I will be uploading this video on my YouTube channel. So in case you forget anything that I might have said, you can just go back and watch it. But yeah.
Please,
hmm
let me know what's your YouTube channel called, so
Oh,
I
it's
can
just
check it out.
Zernos. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll check it out right now.
Right. I actually published a video today. Hope you like it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm gonna check it out today and I'll subscribe,
Oh,
just so keep up with your things, because I like your analysis. Very nice guy, very smart. You know what you're talking about.
I'm
So yeah.
so embarrassed. Yeah.
No, no, for sure. I appreciate your help a lot. Thank you
Uh,
so much for taking the time and sitting down with me.
no problem, no problem. Somebody followed me again. I really need to do something about the chat not showing who followed me. But yeah, thanks for following me, whoever it was. Hey, but yeah, thank you. Void, is that what Jack? Void?
Uh, I, I go by Jack, but
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Jack, for coming today. If you want to do this again, I don't know if I can do it for free though, because my schedule has
Oh
been
no,
extremely busy. So if you do want to do this again, I probably will have to charge you. I
oh no,
used to do it for
for
free
sure.
actually before, but it's gotten very
Uh,
busy.
this one time, my friend Alan, covered for me. So thanks for Alan. Big shout out to my boy Alan. But yeah, next time for sure. Yeah, if I'm coming, if I am to require any more help, I'll be more than happy to pay your fee, whatever it might be. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And if you have any friends who might want to take this too, just let them know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be letting my team know about the video upload on YouTube, so that if they want to hear your opinions as well, because you did have some comments for like the Trundle, the Syndra, the MF, the Sona. So I'll be referring them to your video if they want to see like the VOD of this game and your commentary, given how knowledgeable you are, and you're much better at understanding the game than all of us. So
Well, thank you very much.
yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
All right. Bird the DM, thank you for following me. Yeah. So if any of you in the chat or you have any friends or someone who wants to get coached, just let me know. I'll do my best to give them my advice. But other than that, I guess that'll be it for today. Thank you for coming. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time then. Thank you, Jack. We'll see you again.